Hello, Zoo Med fans. We're here at day 2 of AnimalCon 2023. We're here with Tanner.
Yep.
Tanner, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Tanner from SerpaDesign. I focus primarily on doing naturalistic builds for animals and the advancement of animal husbandry.
So you do a lot of designs. You also keep a lot of animals at home, I'm assuming? What do you work with?
I work largely with aquatics and sort of the in-between. So I like to do the paludariums a lot. That way I could keep fish and frogs, typically, stuff like that. And really anything that I'm interested in that's typically smaller. I don't really work with too many big stuff. I would say the biggest things I have is a king snake and a bearded dragon. Otherwise, small New Caledonia geckos, fire-bellied toads, that sort of thing.
That's awesome. So you say go with that crossover. What's your favorite fish?
My favorite fish? I got a lot that I like. I really like common goldfish, but for just indoor type setups, I really like the tin-one-eye danio. I don't know if you're familiar with that. They're a more rare type of danio, and they're a little bit smaller, but the colorations and everything and the behaviors, they're really cool.
And they go great in those like paludarium type builds. You know, you're putting a smaller fish in the body of water at the bottom of a nice scape. Yeah. So you do scaping, in tanks. You also do like outdoor scaping. Yeah. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Do ponds.
Yeah, I do ponds. I've done maybe 4 or 5 over the years. Most of the time I try to stick with a naturalistic look, but I also kind of like that modern, I guess, Japanese style, just like a wooden frame or block frame with plants and things. And moving forward as the channel goes, I'm going to start doing more stuff outside. It's just a little bit challenging because I live up north, so keeping stuff outdoors year long is a little limiting.
So what led you to starting to create content? What led you to, you obviously make wonderful builds. What led you to wanting to spread the word and ultimately winding up here at AnimalCon?
Growing up, I always kept animals, and as I kept them, I gradually just improved husbandry and tried to replicate nature to my best ability. And whenever I started on doing stuff on YouTube, it was literally just to share what I was doing, and there wasn't really too many people doing it back then. So as the channel started to grow and stuff, I really wanted to show people what's possible, how you can provide for the animals better by putting the enclosure first. So if you put the design first, then the animal is going to do better.
Any future big projects coming up? Anything you're working on you're excited about?
For anybody familiar with the channel, I had this really big enclosure. It was probably about as tall as this, maybe to here, and it broke when I recently moved. I'm going to rebuild that to be pretty much the size of this, but 2 feet front to back, and it's just going to be a huge jungle setup. I won't say for what, but I guess
there is a plan.
Yeah, there
is a plan. Kind of sounds to me like you put the build before the animal, but are there any animals you'd like to work with down the road? Something you have in mind? You'd be like, oh, that'd be really cool to have an enclosure.
I am very interested in the Taiwan beauty snakes.
Oh,
they're really cool because you can get that kind of arboreal setup going on.
Absolutely. I guess last question I have for you is: do you have any advice to future reptile keepers, future creators? What do you have to pass on to them?
Okay, so as far as future animal keepers, go slow. I started doing this when I was 6 maybe. When I got around 14, 15, when I got my first job, I got way too many animals too fast, and it was kind of dodgy. As I've gotten older, I do everything really responsibly, and when you see content creators, they get new animals and that sort of thing, I feel like a lot of people do it irresponsibly. But for myself, I make sure that all of the animals I have are taken care of, they're good, I got their care dialed in and optimized, and then if I feel like I can take on something else, I do it, dial that, optimize it, then if I want to get something else, then I do. So just make sure that you care for what you have then before you get anything else. And then as far as a content creator perspective goes, if you're trying to build an audience, build a platform and everything, I would say don't follow the trends, make your own path, and really try to do things differently than other people are doing, whether that be from delivery, the setups you're making, the animals you're keeping, all kind of things like that. Obviously you can take inspiration from other people, but I would just say try to build your own path as well as you can.
Sounds like great advice, Tanner. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of AnimalCon.
Thank you.